So this particular title comes from actually like a personal experience of mine back in 2009 playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer. In COD, I'm someone who definitely lends himself to being a run and gunner, but a very quiet one, so always being suppressed and always using perks that hide me from the minimap and hide me from kill streaks, etc, etc. So things like Ghost, Ninja, Cold-Blooded, whatever the games choose their perks to be for those games. But in Modern Warfare 2 specifically, I used Cold-Blooded and Ninja, and Cold-Blooded had a pro variant, as a couple of CODs around that time did, and the means of getting Cold-Blooded Pro was to shoot down 40 enemy equipment, so like helicopters, UAVs, Harrier jets, whatever. But me, as I said, I'm a running gunner. I wasn't the person to be using a rocket launcher on my back to be taking down air support. My old teammate Ryan was the person who did that, not me. So when it came to shooting down 40 air equipment, that was going to be really tough for me. It'd be an arduous grind. But there was actually a really good bug in the game that I'm pretty certain to this day still has never been patched. I mean, there's not really much of a reason to. The game is 11 years old now. But this bug involved a kill streak called a Pavlo, which was a big helicopter that just sort of swooped around the map and shooting people to bits. But when it was shot, it didn't just explode, it would spin out over the map quite slowly. And there was a bug where if you were using Cold-Blooded, it's the only way you could get the pro variant is to be using the perk at the time while you're leveling up. If a Pavlo was spinning out over the map, you could just look up, use your standard assault rifle, even just your pistol, and just spray at the thing. Every single hit marker you got while spraying at a spinning out Pavlo counted as a downed enemy aircraft. So when I was using Cold-Blooded, I remember the Pavlo spinning out and my friend going, "Rich, shoot it." So I just emptied a mag into the Pavlo and I got Cold-Blooded Pro. Like that. I shot down 40 enemy kill streak equipment air things in like 10 seconds. It was great. It took away the grind of having to use a rocket launcher and grind my way through that for however long to shoot down 40 bloody equipment. And I just bypassed the whole pro challenges by spraying into a spinning out helicopter. Thank you, Infinity Ward, for never patching that. You saved me a lot of arduous crap.
If we're talking cheats, it has to be old school GTA. Back in the day, I remember when the original GTA, one of my friends gave it to me. It was back when we were like, I don't know, we would have been 6 or something, and it was good job for parents. And we picked up old school GTA, and those games used to be associated with cheat codes, just across like, GTA, GTA 2, GTA London, and they carried that mentality into the 3D ones, obviously 3 Vice City San Andreas. It wasn't until they tried to sort of mature the franchise a bit with GTA 4 that you could still enter cheat codes in them, but I didn't feel like they were as experimental as the old school GTAs, because I still remember to this day the BSTARD code that you could punch into the original GTA. I think it works on some of the other ones too, but that would give you sort of unlimited weapons and a bunch of lives and stuff like that. And back in the originals, I wasn't playing them for the story. I was just messing around, flamethrower everything, and just trying to cause as much carnage as possible with that really cool piece of music that used to play on like the main menu or whatever it was. There was something about old school GTA that was just tied to pure experimental, just what can you get away with style game design, or escapist, sort of power fantasies. And all those things are still in GTA to this day, but if I'm thinking of cheat codes, it has to be old school GTA. I think pretty much everybody who grew up on that franchise has an association with just memorizing a bunch of different button combos, and you would pass the controller between each other, but as soon as someone passed it to you, you would sit there and be like, right, L1, R1, blah, blah, square triangle, let me get my weapon of choice. Flying tanks or whatever it was. GTA 3 flying tanks were brilliant. Point being though, with all this, GTA is maybe better with a few cheat codes.
Okay, so thinking about what I was going to choose today got me reflecting on how I played games growing up, and I realised that pretty much every single game I played in my formative years, I played completely wrong because I relied on cheats so goddamn much for everything and barely played any game how they were actually intended to be played. Let me demonstrate with my 2 picks. First, I've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, or actually Underground 1 and 2. It's Underground 1 and 2 that I played more than any of the other Tony Hawk's games because I was a bit older, more in the scene at the time, and I have played the absolute hell out of both of those games and Tony Hawk's in general. but I'm no good at it because I was not getting any better at the game because I used the cheats, specifically the cheats to never lose balance when you were doing grinds and manuals, which meant essentially, unless you messed up one of the ramp tricks, you weren't going to lose your combo or fail. And I've played Tony Hawk's Underground 1 especially through the campaign over and over again, getting the high scores by just cheating, by just doing those manual tricks and pressing the button combinations over and over again. So even though I've played those games for hundreds of hours, anyone who's probably played it 5 hours properly will be much, much better than me than getting the high score, because I just couldn't be bothered with actually learning the game. I was just there to dick around, to be honest, have a good time, unlock the skaters, explore the worlds, and just mess around. And tragically, that same mentality made it over to Oblivion, which, while I didn't use a cheat code for this, I certainly abused some of the systems, as it were, especially the leveling up system, because while I played Oblivion a lot, it was often on new saves to try new things and new characters. So I would start new games, and suddenly, because I'd just come from level whatever to back to level 1, I couldn't be bothered to level up, so I would do tricks to get my stats boosted. For instance, going into the arena at the very beginning of the game, turning the difficulty all the way down, putting a rubber band on the thumbstick, and just walking into characters as they hit me to get my armor skills up. And this is how I played Oblivion, you know, especially at the end of its life, I guess. I would just do things like this to get the points or to get the weapons, and it genuinely gave me an existential crisis at some point. I remember playing Oblivion when I was very young, trying to get the glass weapons and armor, and just sort of stopping and thinking, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I just getting these new weapons, exploiting the systems to get them, and not actually enjoying the game? Why am I here? And I realize now in hindsight that I was playing it completely wrong. I went in and traded Oblivion in after having that breakdown and didn't touch it for a long time, when I could have just played it correctly, not glitched the systems, not cheated my way through games, and had a good time. So yeah, I'm terrible. I need to go back and play all these games properly, and at least I don't do it anymore.
So a video game cheat that I absolutely exploit every single time has to be the money cheats in the Sims games. I don't think I've ever played a Sims game without using either Motherload or Ka-ching, because what is the fun in trying, like, I must admit, so when I first started playing it when I was very, very little, of course I tried to play it through, like, properly, as you do, and every now and then I will dabble with trying to play cheats, but as I've gotten older, I enjoy playing the Sims because I like to create the houses and you know, do a little bit of landscaping and some you know, architecture. Like, that's what I get more enjoyment out of. It's like, as a relaxing thing for me is to just sit down and I'm just gonna create a few houses. You know, I'm gonna create a few people and a few houses, and I'm gonna try and get them these really cool stuff and get a really nice, you know, garden or something built, or a church or something. I don't know. That for me is what I enjoy out of The Sims now. Like, every now and then, yeah, I might spend an entire day actually trying to get the family to make as many babies and progress within their career, but for me, I just love creating the houses, and I can't create a good house and decorate it to the way that I want it to be decorated with no money. And I do not have the time or the patience to sit there and try and work my Sims up through their career to earn enough money that I can finally create the massive mansion that I envisioned in my brain. So, of course, as soon as I get on there, as soon as I load up my family, I hit the pause button and I sit there and I motherload, man. I write in motherload, I copy it, and then I'll just paste. It's just Control V. Just Control V over and over again until I've got way more money than I definitely need. But it's just, there's something so satisfying seeing that little corner pop up, just da-ching, 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 da-ching. It's just, I love it. It's so satisfying, and then just being able to literally buy anything within my heart's content. It's just so nice to have that, because I will never see that amount of money in my lifetime ever. So yeah, why not? People play Sims for different reasons. Mine is to just become a billion cajillionaire and just buy whatever I want and make the mansion of my dreams. Is that really so bad?
So I think this one's more of a glitch than a cheat, because in Crash Bandicoot 2, I discovered this about like 6 or 7 years ago, where you can do a dash, a jump, and then a spin, and that would make you go so much higher than what you can normally jump at. Like if you do if you go down into Turtle Woods, there's this secret area where you have to belly flop into, and you come across these like 2 birds. If you stand on top of them, their legs go down, and then the whole body like jumps down, and then there's this platform that you can't reach after that. If you do a normal jump, you can't reach it. If you do a slide jump, you can't reach it. But if you do a slide jump spin, then you can reach it, and it's pretty cool. And it can be used to get up to higher places as well. Like there's a red gem in Snowgo, and there is a way of getting it. So if you jump on top of that like jump up arrow box, the metallic one, and then if you slide jump spin up onto it and then do a belly flop afterwards, you'll gain so much more height, and then you'll be able to get it. And it's an easy way of getting that red gem, and they've even acknowledged that in Crash Insane Trilogy, because they still kept it in, but they've moved the red gems somewhere up higher. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot 2, I loved it ever since, and still kind of play it today really. It's a great game.